Welcome to Storytime Counseling. Today we're going to be talking about the topic of divorce. So divorce is the word that describes when two parents decide to not be together anymore. And so we're going to talk about what happens at the beginning, and throughout the book it's going to also talk about what happens in between, what happens after, and feelings that may occur throughout this process. And so we're going to be doing it through Dinosaurs Divorce, A Guide for Changing Families by Laurene, Krasny Brown, and Marc Brown. So first we're going to talk about why parents divorce. Why parents divorce. Divorce takes place between mothers and fathers. You are not to blame if your parents get divorced. Parents divorce when they don't love each other or can't get along together anymore, no matter how hard they try. Some parents have violent, noisy battles, so they scream. Other parents fight silently by not talking to each other. Parents sometimes fight with you when really they are angry with each other. So see, mom's kind of getting really mad at the son here, but maybe because she's thinking about something that maybe dad made her mad about. Sometimes parents who are upset with each other behave in ways that hurt themselves and the rest of the family. For these parents, it's better not to live together or be married anymore. So although this is a situation that most people don't want to go through, sometimes, as it's mentioned, for these parents that are having problems getting along, sometimes it's better to have a little bit of space. Think about when you're having problems with your friends. Sometimes it makes you feel better if you walk away and go play with somebody else because it gets your mind off of things. It allows you to kind of cool down. So that's why a lot of times parents end up separating, because they just need time to find what makes them happy. But what about you? When your parents divorce, it's natural to feel sad. Sometimes you're going to get angry because it happened, or you're mad at your parents. You might be afraid because you don't know what's going to happen. You're confused because sometimes things aren't explained to us, and it's a very hard topic to understand. Even for adults, it's confusing. Sometimes you may feel ashamed. You don't want other people to know what's happening. You may feel guilty. Sometimes people think it's their fault that the parents aren't together anymore, but that's never the case. Sometimes you might feel relieved. You're like, whew, they're not going to fight anymore, or maybe they're not going to fight with me anymore. They're going to be happier. And sometimes you're going to feel worried about who's going to take care of you. The bad feelings aren't going to last forever, and there's plenty you can do to help yourself feel better. So we kind of talked about all these feelings that may happen when you are dealing with a parent's divorce. And so now we're going to talk about some things that you can do to make yourself feel a little bit better. Number one, it really helps to talk about these feelings and show them. It's okay to cry. In fact, crying can help you feel better. So even though, he's in his bedroom right here and he's crying, and that's okay to feel sad. If you feel angry, tell your parents why and look for ways to show anger that doesn't hurt others or yourself. So you can show your anger by playing with your toys. Some kids maybe punch their pillows. So you want to make sure you get that anger out, but you also want to make sure that you're safe and that other people are safe as well. If you're afraid or confused about what's happening in your family, tell your parents how you feel and ask them questions. Although it may be hard and some parents maybe don't feel like talking about it yet, it's very good to ask them questions about things that you might have in mind, because it might make you feel better, and it might even help your parents kind of talk about it as well. Because imagine what would happen if you kept all those feelings to yourself. It sometimes helps to visit a family counselor who will make sure everyone gets a chance to talk and listen to each other. Some parents can agree between themselves about who you will live with after the divorce and how often you will see each other. So sometimes it's easy parents can figure it out and they say you're going to have him or her this week, and then sometimes parents can't decide, and then they'll ask a lawyer for help. So when they can't agree, lawyers and judges decide. Try to be honest when they ask you questions. It's definitely going to help them make a better decision. So be honest. If you feel more comfortable with your mom, or you feel more comfortable with your dad, and you feel like that's where you might be able to be a little bit more happy, be honest, because the judges and the lawyers are there to ultimately help you be happy and make a decision that's going to be best for you. You may hope your parents will marry each other again, but divorce is final. Most parents don't get back together. You can still love both parents. That doesn't change with divorce. So we kind of talked about what happens in that immediate timing of parents fighting and parents deciding, we can't be together anymore. And so now we're going to talk about what happens after the divorce. Divorce can bring some good changes. Your parents may feel calmer and be nicer to spend time with. You may get to know each of them a little bit better. You don't have to listen when parents say bad things about each other. Say you love them both, and hearing this upsets you. You may have to tell them more than once. If parents want you to carry messages back and forth, ask them to do it themselves. So see, mom's maybe telling her, tell your dad, blah, blah, blah. And she's saying, nope, you need to tell her yourself. Remember, divorce is new for your parents too, and they make some mistakes. So see here, Dad decided to buy her some shorts, and he bought them a little bit too big. But I think this is a really important message to remember, even as kids and even as adults, is that divorce is really brand new for your parents too. So if you feel confused and sad and angry, more than likely your parents feel the same way too. They're trying to make sense of this new change for themselves. So sometimes it's good to be empathetic. So kind of put yourself in their shoes and understand that sometimes they're going to make mistakes, but they're not doing it on purpose. They're just also trying to figure out what is going to be the best thing for you. If you move, you may have to say goodbye to friends and familiar places, but soon your new home will feel like the place you really belong. So here, Dinosaurs is kind of sad because he's leaving his friend. He's saying bye. He's moving, so you might feel a little scared. So now they're talking about moving, right? And so we're going to talk about living with only one parent. So if the parents decide that you're better off with just mom or with just dad, and that they'll see, they're going to live somewhere farther away, or they'll see you only on holidays, then you're only going to live with one parent. So let's kind of see what that may look like. Parents may need you to take care of yourself a little bit more. So you see mom's going off to work, and here Dino's helping make some salad, something easy. You can make things easier for your parent and yourself if you offer to pitch in and help. So here he's also helping set up the dinner table. He's cleaning up his own room. So that's very helpful. You may wish you could turn into a grown-up overnight, but doing that isn't your job. And there may be times when you feel like acting babyish to get attention. Try instead to ask for some love and affection. So acting like a baby sometimes isn't going to help, and it might make your parents confused or a little bit sad. So if you feel lonely and you just want to spend time with mom or dad, try to play a game with them or read a story and sit close, maybe have some cuddles together. And other changes from divorce may be harder to get used to. So living with only one parent almost always means there's going to be less money. Be prepared to give up some things. So one of the things that some of my students say that they have hard times with is that mom or dad can no longer give them all the toys that they want, or maybe they want these really cool shoes and they can't afford it, and that's okay. And that's something that's going to happen, and it's completely normal to feel upset and to maybe want your parents to get back together because you're blaming the lack of money. But just know that all of these objects are just things that make you happy for a little while. Ultimately, what's best is that your parents are happy and that you no longer have to see them unhappy or make yourself feel unhappy because of that. And there's going to be times when you miss your other parent. So here Dino is looking at Dad's picture, and so he actually is deciding to write a letter to Dad. So if you can't call Dad on the cell phone, writing a letter is very good because you get all the emotions out. You get to tell him how much you miss him. And it also is something that you can give to them. So this Dino was living with just Mom by himself. And now we're going to see what happens when he goes to visit Dad. So it says visiting your parent. Visiting someone you used to live with can feel uncomfortable at first, but after a while, you get used to it. So you might feel a little different going to a new home with Dad that maybe you haven't seen for a while, or with Mom. And so it's going to feel a little bit different at first, but you'll definitely get used to it. Your parents will want to know what you're doing in school and with your friends, about things you need help with and things that you want to do with them. Don't be shy about sharing in this way. So here she actually wrote an entire list of what's been happening at school and with her friends and the things she needs help with. So that way when Dad asks her, she could just kind of read the list to him and he knows. Some parents act like Santa Claus, always suggesting fancy or expensive things. So we kind of talked about how some parents may not have as much money to buy you the things, and maybe one parent, when you see them, might buy you all these really cool stuff. And so, like I mentioned, they're just stuff. And so you don't have to spend lots of money to love each other and have fun together. And so here you see the daughter and the mom, they're at the fair and they spent tons of money winning prizes. But do they look very happy after? No, I mean, I'm sure they had fun, but it's also fun to just kind of sit down and read a story together, have a little cuddle. You don't have to spend a lot of money to feel love. Some parents feel too guilty or unhappy to visit you. Sometimes you can keep in touch by calling or writing. So sometimes you may feel like your parent is not calling you enough or they're not around enough. And sometimes that's because they feel too guilty or they're still trying to make sense of this very confusing situation. And so although that may make you sad, just know that the parent is trying their hardest. And hopefully, they can figure something out for themselves and be able to be part of your life. But if not, try to spend time with other grown-ups you like and trust. So here, it seems like they're going to visit Grandma. So Grandma's always a very good adult to trust and to talk to about this very difficult situation. It may feel strange at first to show your love for one parent in front of the other. Try to remember it's okay to love both and to show that you do. So here, the little Dino showing Dad that she loves him in front of Mom, and that's okay. And so that was kind of living with only one parent and only visiting the other parent. But now we're going to also talk about if maybe one week you spend it with one parent or you spend the week with one parent, the weekend with another. So we're going to be talking about having two homes. Spending time in two different homes can be confusing. You may feel lost or out of place, but try to find favorite things you can do with each parent. So here, the Dino has found her favorite thing to do with Dad is go to museums, in this case an art museum. And with Mom, maybe they have a tree house so they can spend time there. Make a schedule to remember when you will stay at each parent's house. So as you can see here, she wrote on the schedule, Mom, Dad, 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 Mom, Mom. So if you can sit with a parent or an adult and ask them, hey, when do I get to spend time with my dad? When do I get to spend time with my mom? You can write it in a calendar so that you always know where you need to be. And keep special things in each place. So as you can see, she's got a pile of toys at Mom's house. She's got a pile of toys at Dad's house. That way when she goes to either house, she has her favorite things there to make her feel at home. Telling one parent you have permission from the other to do something when you don't isn't fair to anyone. It's only going to get you in trouble. So although you're living in two different homes, there's going to be different rules right? And so it's not good to lie and say, Mom said I could, or Dad said I could, because as you can see, it might cause an argument between the parents. So the rules in each house may be different. Try to respect both. As you can see here, Dad maybe only allowed this dinosaur one teddy bear, and Mom allows all these different teddy bears. And so different rules are okay, but it's good to remember that at each house, these rules are going to be different, and that's okay. Now we're going to talk about celebrating holidays and special occasions, because this may be a time where it's confusing and you may feel like you're being torn into two people. Divorce may bring twice as much celebrating at holiday times, but you may feel pulled apart. Holidays and special occasions may not be the same. In fact, you may celebrate them in very different ways. Try to be open with these changes. As you can see here, Dad's celebrating the birthday on a boat, which is kind of different, but it's actually a very cool idea as well. It's important to remember both your parents on holidays. So if you make a present for Mom for Christmas, it would also be very nice if you made also a special present for Dad. That way they don't feel left out. Now we're going to talk about what it's like to actually start to tell people about it. So there's been a lot of changes in your life and with your parents, and you might feel a little ashamed. You don't want to tell other people. But as time goes on, you feel a little bit more comfortable, or you meet a friend who's maybe going through the same thing, you might start to feel comfortable telling them. So divorce may make you feel different from your friends, but you're still you, no matter how many parents you live with. It helps to remember that you are not the only one whose parents are divorced. So here they have the teacher asking, how many of your parents are divorced? And if you see, there's 1, 2, 3 students in the class whose parents are divorced. It's actually something very common that happens in a lot of families, and so there's nothing to truly feel ashamed for. It may be easier to tell your friend one at a time. So here's only one friend. Good friends will be glad you could be honest with them. And spending time with friends can help you feel less lonely. Now we're going to talk about, after a while or sometime soon, your parents might start to meet new friends or new people that they're starting to spend time with. And that may be a very hard situation to deal with. So let's just kind of see what happens with these little dinos. Your mother or father may go out on dates. So you can see they're going on a date. Staying with the babysitter may not be so bad. So as you can see here, sometimes babysitters can be fun, or staying with a family member. You may sometimes feel jealous and want your parent to yourself. Be polite to your parents' new friends, even if you don't like them at first. Who knows? They may become friends of yours too. So although it's going to feel a little strange at the beginning, with time, if you really like them and that parent and that friend becomes very important to your parent, then you may also learn to like them as well. And if they really, really start to like this new friend, they might even consider getting married again. So that's when you might have to live with a step-parent. Divorced parents who find someone new they can love and live with happily may decide to marry again. You may worry that step-parents are like characters in fairy tales, like witches, or they're really mean, but a step-parent is a grown-up who, just like you, loves your mother or father. Most step-parents won't try to take your mother or father's place. They will care about you and want to see you happy. You may also care about them. Pick a name for your step-parent that you find easy to use and your step-parent is comfortable with. So here they kind of started writing stepmom, extra mom, Julie, Molly. So they're just trying to find a name that they feel comfortable with and that also makes the new friend comfortable. Be patient. It may take a while to get used to each other's ways of doing things. Not everyone loves his or her step-parents, but showing them respect is important. And so here they might not really like that the step-parent is telling them that you need to clean your room, but they're only doing that because they love you and they want to make sure that your room is clean and that you're doing what you're supposed to. If you do love your step-parent, be glad. It won't change the way you and your own parent feel about each other. So just because you learn to love your stepmom as well, or your stepdad, it doesn't mean that you love your mom any less. It just means that you're now comfortable with the situation that has been happening. And sometimes when parents marry new friends, that new friend may also have other kids. And so that's when we're going to start talking about having stepsisters and stepbrothers. Having step-parents may mean having stepbrothers and stepsisters. You may feel invaded if you have to share a room. So sometimes that can make you angry if you now have to share your room with other siblings. And it can help to agree on spaces and things that can be private for each. So here they kind of put a blanket in the middle to kind of give them a little space to each other. That was a great idea. Learning to live with someone new takes time, so don't be surprised if there are arguments at first. Stepbrothers and stepsisters may be good to talk to about divorce. They often have been through it too. Finding a quiet place might take more work with the bigger family. But having a bigger family means there's usually someone around when you want company. No matter how many stepsisters and stepbrothers, half-sisters or half-brothers you have, your place in the family is always special. So although it may feel like your parents are maybe paying attention to new brothers and sisters, always know that you are very special to them and they still love you, even if they're not spending as much time as they used to. Divorce in your family means many things will change, but one thing that never changes is that your parents' love for you. And so here, the dino, after all these things that have been happening, he's riding his bike and he's kind of okay with everything, and he just tries to remember that dad still loves him, mom still loves him, and that he still loves them. So divorce is going to be a very hard thing to deal with, but hopefully these phases that we kind of talked about divorce may help you feel a little bit more comfortable and show you the things that may be happening throughout these changes. Thank you for reading this story. Bye.